All right. As the Austin allergies take their toll on me again. What's up, everybody? Um, just making sure everything's working. Been recording all day, so that gets that and the allergies get to the throat. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me and obviously see me? Give me like ones in the chat. You can hear me and see me. That's really important tonight, so I don't want to look any crazier than I already do. And hopefully you can't hear the motorcycle outside. Cool. Right on. One's in the chat. You can hear me and see me. So tonight, before we get into it, it's going to be a little different. We've got some historic fantasy, hypothetical MMA fights that we're going to be running. And there'll be 3 5-minute rounds, all according to current MMA rules. It's all meant in good humor. And we're running some new, for us, tech stuff. So bear with us as we roll through that. This should be a good time for everybody. And I don't think I'm leaving anything out, but if I am, we'll figure it out as we go. So without any further ado, let me bring up the stuff I need here. And welcome to the History Fighting Championships, brought to you by History at the OK Corral. Tonight, we bring you 3 historic theoretical matchups to answer the question, who is the best of the West? First up, Davy Crockett takes on Daniel Boone in a backwoods throwdown, sure to be a ferocious affair. Next, in a mountain man mashup, Christopher Kit Carson takes on Jedediah Strong Smith in a fight that was born in the Rockies and will be settled in the ring. And in our main event, the Quahati bad boy Quanah Parker takes on the Apache ghost Geronimo. This is sure to be a night of historic action, so settle in for the first edition of the History Fighting Championships, brought to you by hokc. Now, let's go to the ringside to hear more from our commentator, me. Okay, hopefully that worked well. Everybody hear that okay? Not to cut the drama too much, but make sure everybody heard that. Everybody can hear what I'm saying. We don't sound too crazy. We're going directly to ringside. That's me. So, like I said, tonight will be 3 5-minute rounds. Our first 3 fights are of all time, right? We're going to be going for, under MMA rules, this means no weapons, no biting, no eye gouging, and absolutely no groin strikes. These fights are all, like I said, hypothetical and meant to have a good time. So have a good time with them. Make sure to stay around in the chat afterward. Let me know how much you love or hate the outcome. All right. So our first fighters coming to the ring now. We've got, Davy Crockett. Fighting out of the hollers of Tennessee, he stands 6 foot tall, weighs in at 190 pounds with a reach of 76 inches. He has a fighting style of frontier boxing and rough and tumble wrestling. Welcome to the ring, Davy Crockett. Crockett. All right. They always say it again, right? In the fights. All right. Moving on to our next fighter. Welcoming to the ring now, William Espinoza. Fight night deserves odds, money lines, and parlays. Don't get us in trouble, William. That could take us down a dangerous route. One of these days. Coming to the ring now, though, Daniel Boone. Fighting out of the hills of Kentucky, standing 5'8", weighing in at 180 pounds with a reach of 72 inches. He's a long hunter trained in grappling and knife fight defense transitions. Welcome to the ring, Daniel Boone. Boone. All right, we've got both our fighters in the ring. Now, we are getting ready. The referee is giving them their rules. I guess I'm kind of the referee. So no low blows, 3 5-minute rounds. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I don't know if you can hear the bell, but we're going to give it a shot. Round 1. Our fighters approach each other, moving towards the middle of the ring. Both men are stepping forward cautiously. Boone's got his hands high, eyes locked on Crockett. Crockett's flicking a jab. Now, Crockett's footwork is known to be suspect, but his head movement is absolutely top notch. He's really worked on that in his fight camp. Boone slipping out some hard jabs. Boone again inside with the leg kick. The crowd is really kind of murky on this. They're not really sure of the two fighters. They want them to be a little more aggressive. Moving into the second minute here, Crockett is pressing forward now. Perhaps he's listening to the crowd. He's loading up that right hand. Boone times it, ducks it, ties him up, drives him to the cage. Now a series of short knees from Boone to the thigh, grinding pressure from Boone now. Boone hunting for a trip. Crockett sprawls. He pops back up to his feet, fires a looping right hook that cracks Boone in the temple. That's a terrible shot. Boone's biting down hard on his mouthpiece, answers with a slicing right elbow that opens up a thin cut over Crockett's cheek. Crockett's in trouble now. Early in the first round, Crockett's pace is rising. Going into the third minute, he stalks forward behind heavy jabs. Again, his footwork is a little flat-footed, but he's hard to hit because his foot move or his head movement is almost like a Old West Canelo here. He's forcing Boone backwards towards the cage. A body kick lands clean. Oh, that was vicious again. Boone forces the clinch up and again to the cage, throwing some last-second knees here. 30 seconds left. Crockett unloads a big overhand right. Boone staggers, but he's staying upright. Again to the clinch, and the horn sounds or the bell sounds. I missed that one up, but first round over. That was a lot more vicious than we thought going into it. We thought they'd stay with that, feeling the pace out for a while. And then after the second minute, Crockett just unleashed. And we'll see how that affects him going into the second round here. As I pull up the bell. Second round coming up. And here we go. Both fighters circling in again, feeling each other out again in the early seconds of the second round. Boone's corner, and we couldn't really hear it here on the ringside mic, but Boone's corner, I could hear from where I'm sitting, really encouraging him to lock up and wrestle more. Don't give Crockett time to work his jab. Oh, Crockett again in with a quick jab, a low combo. Crockett tries to counter. Boone shoots a beautiful double leg, finally using that grappling. Boone settles in. He's heavy on top. Not the biggest guy, giving up 10 pounds to Crockett, but he knows how to use his weight. Firing down some vicious elbows on Crockett now, trying to open up that cut. Boone able to control the tempo here. That is going to be a huge, huge thing for Boone to take the victory tonight. Crockett is trying to work his way up, trying to build a frame, but really having trouble as Boone is so good at just getting heavy and using his 180 pounds to pin down any number of backwoods animals. So how hard could Crockett really be? Going into the second minute now, Crockett on the bottom, going for a sweep, back to the full guard. Crockett really worked that sweep well. He sneaks in a series of punches now from the top. Boone is trying to work his way up, but having no luck. Boone sweeps again. A huge move from Boone. Boone is now back on top, right where he wants to be, throwing relentless right hands. Oh, this is not where Crockett wants to be now. We're going into the third minute. Boone slides into side control now, going for full mount. He traps Crockett's arm. Crockett is bridging, trying to get out of position. Oh, working hard, but getting nowhere. Crockett trying to stand up, finally works his way to the standing position, firing off jabs and trying to work his way back away from Boone. They clinch again. Boone driving himself and Crockett to the cage. Both exchanging knees now and heavy elbows. This is close quarters fighting all the way to the end. Boone sneaks in a final elbow. And there is the bell. The remnants of the bell. Whoops. Keeps going to like a talk show I was watching. Ignore that. 2 rounds down. This has been a vicious fight, really testing both men's conditioning. Each has had a 6-week fight camp. And we're wondering if the elevation of the Kentucky mountains is going to affect either's endurance going into our second round here. Oops. Sorry, the cameraman won't hold still. I keep bumping the table, Let's check in with the comments here in between rounds. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's in agreement that this is far more of a slug out than we expected to see, especially from 2 men with grappling backgrounds. Okay, back to the ring. For round 3, the bell has somehow broken, so we'll just go with an official start from myself. Round 3, starting officially now. Both men coming out, breathing heavy, but both determined. Boone working jabs and circling right. Crockett blast a 1-2 right down the pipe. followed by a double leg attempt. Boone sprawls. Ooh, Boone is looking shaky, but he fights off the takedown. Back again to the clinch. Again on the cage. Crockett rips a vicious right to the body. Boone counters with a hip toss. Again, Boone back on top. Boone in half guard, landing strikes, landing elbows. Not able to advance from there, but this is where Boone wants to be. The crowd is on its feet going into the second minute. Boone is trying to get the full mount again, but Crockett is managing to escape, pushing Boone's hips off. Crockett back to his feet. Both men exhausted, barely able to hold their hands up. Both men bleeding, but smiling. This is insane. Both of them stalking forwards towards each other. These men are two frontier madmen, two legends here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Huge right hand from Boone. Crockett barely able to stand up. This has been a huge change in momentum. Can Crockett even finish the fight from here? Crockett to a double leg, barely able to hold his head up, circling. Both men back to the mat. Incredible. Crockett to full mount now. Crockett firing down hammer fist. This is a brutal ending to a brutal fight, folks. Boone ties Crockett's hands up now. He's staying alive, but barely. Back to guard. Pushes his hips back, gets back to guard. The ref is warning him to keep working. Crockett lands an elbow to the brow. Boone is busted open. Final minute, Boone shoots his hips back, stands up. Crockett back to the standing position, firing off jabs. Boone shoots. Crockett sprawls, spins behind, raining down elbows now to the final seconds. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. 3 rounds of absolutely gut-wrenching action. Both men return to their corners after shaking hands. A great show of respect. These men are not enemies. They are only opponents. And what we have just seen in our first ever History Fighting Championships matchup is an absolutely incredible display. I don't think anyone is surprised. Maybe a few of us are shocked. Let's go to the crowd for some reaction. Daniel Morgan would whip all of them. That's a contract dependent fight. That's something that's in talks, but we don't want to say too much before everything's official. Oh, a lot of people in here pulling for Crockett and Boone alike. Let's go to the judges for the official decision. Both men standing in the middle of the ring. Both men looking sure that they have in fact won. And we have a unanimous decision, 29-28 for Davy Crockett. Both men handshake again. Nice embrace. Sportsmanship. Boone is certainly disappointed. Crockett elated, but still plenty of sportsmanship between these two gentlemen. And I'm sure that we will see them again. Absolutely thrilling start to our night tonight. Welcome, Don Willis. Good to have you. Just like the old days, absolutely Pennsylvania Plowboy. Space Cowboy, good to have you back. I love this concept. Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. First fight in the books, folks. What'd you think? Did you agree with the judge's decision or not? Can you make fun of me for the slight stuttering problem or not? Has anyone checked out the podcast Thrilling Adventure Hour? We have not, but we'll check that out. Okay, moving on to our second fight of the evening. We have got a Mountain Man mashup, Kit Carson versus Jed Smith. We're setting things up now. All right, first to come out, Mr. Kit Carson. Fighting out of Taos, New Mexico, standing 5'8", weighing in at 175 pounds with a reach of 72 inches. He specializes in frontier boxing, grappling, and knife-to-finish clinch work. He is Kit Carson. Carson looking confident tonight. He's talked about his camp. He feels like he's in tremendous condition. He says he could never have been more ready. He looks ready to go. I'm excited for this fight. All right, we're moving on to our next fighter now, Jedediah Smith. Fighting out of upstate New York, standing 6 feet tall and weighing in at 190 pounds. He has a reach of 76 inches. He is a long-range striker, a wrestler, and a survival brawler. Welcome to the ring, fighting out of upstate New York, Jedediah Smith. This is one of the matchups that I'm most excited to see tonight. I think, one of these times where the guys aren't enemies. They weren't enemies in history, but this is one where an immovable force meets an unstoppable object. Is that how it goes? Something like that. It's going to be a hell of a fight. So be sure to stay tuned here. A lot going on. I have like a lot of tech stuff I'm looking at. It's tech stuff for me. I might just be clicking on music files and stuff, but it's a lot for me. So I feel like I'm doing relatively well considering all the stuff in front of me. All right, we're going to the ring now. Checking in with our ring announcer, Brandon. Brandon, how are things going? Going really well, Brandon. So what we've looked at here in our fighter bios is that Carson is known for his speed, his agility. He's experienced under pressure. He has a bit of a size disadvantage, and he can be drawn into brawls very easily. A bit of a temper on the guy that might factor into his endurance. Now, Smith has the size advantage. He's got the reach. He's got power. He's got tremendous endurance. A little bit slower on the footwork and vulnerable to body shots. Also, he's got some scarring on his head. Might be easy to open up in the later rounds. Let's go to round one. Round one beginning here, and we are underway. Carson wastes no time, darting in, darting out, sharp jabs. Jedediah is standing tall, taking over the center of the ring. He's patient, moving the head 10-2, 10-2, using that reach to probe with long punches. Ooh, a nasty jab to the body from Jedediah to get things started. The crowd is absolutely into this. This is one that everyone's been looking forward to and wondering what this spells for the future. Going into the second minute, Smith, using his size, pushes Carson against the cage, leaning on him, tearing. Oops. Oh, the camera went out for a second. Leaning on him, using that weight to drain Carson's energy. Short uppercuts from Smith, landing inside. Carson circles off, firing a low kick and breaking the clinch. Well, you could hear that from the back seats, folk. That was a nasty calf kick. Carson fires off a jab. Again, going into the third minute now. Carson shoots. He's in on a single leg takedown. He's into it briefly. Smith sprawls out hard. Heavy hips from Smith, sprawling and pushing Carson back. Both men now back to a standing position. Short punches fired off from Carson, but to no real effect. Going into the third minute now. Carson's movement is still sharp, bouncing light, trying to take over the angles of the ring here, peppering Smith with short combos. Smith starting to wane in the later minutes of the round here. Smith finally lands a huge overhand right. Carson stumbles back against the cage, somehow manages to stay on his feet. Smith is on him. Again, back to the clinch, using his size to drain Carson down. Both men back to a grinding pace now. 30 seconds to go. Smith muscles Carson into the cage. Knees to the body, knees to the thighs. A final flurry, and round one is in the books. That was a hell of a start, folks. A lot more action than I thought we'd see. Again, I thought we'd see these two experienced guys come out and feel each other out, but they got right to business. Got a lot of Kit Carson fans in here tonight. This is going to be a contentious one, no matter how it ends. And we know about the judging scandal from last season, so, always have to take this with a grain of salt. Round two coming up now. And here we go. Carson coming out, firing quick short jabs, back to the clinch, ripping a 3-shot combo, pushing Smith now up against the cage. To little effect against Smith, just eats it. Not a problem for the big mountain man. 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, is a stout fellow, no matter how you square it up. Smith now coming forward. Heavy leather coming from Smith, forcing Carson to circle away. Smith has owned the middle of the ring so far. Smith taking back Carson's advantage, going to the middle of the ring. Smith to a double leg. Both men circling again. Smith traps him up against the fence, looking for a dirty boxing advantage here. Carson counters beautifully, slips under, pivots, lands 2 hard hooks to the body and moves away. Carson proving elusive throughout this fight. Carson starting to find his rhythm now going into the third minute. Stinging Smith with a jab cross combo, popping Smith's head back. That was a bad shot. How many more of these can Smith take? Smith retaliates with a huge knee to the midsection, driving Carson back against the cage and both men back to the clinch again. Smith shoots for a double leg, going under Carson's arms and gets it. A powerful takedown finish there. Carson goes to the half guard now, defending Smith's elbows. That is going to be a dangerous position for Carson now. Smith working the ground and pound. Steady pressure here. But can he keep this up for another minute? Carson pushing off the fence. Now sweeping to the top position. Both men stand up again. Carson wants more stand up. This is an absolutely breathtaking exposition of heart and guts from Carson tonight. The crowd is going crazy as the last seconds finish here. A quick uppercut from Carson, and there is the bell for the second round. Absolutely breathtaking action, folks. We'll go to the crowd for reaction here. Huge reaction here. This is a contentious one. Pennsylvania Plowboy. Oh, hot take there. We'll have to save that one for the end. Good to see everyone in here. I'm looking at it we're 2 rounds in. I'm going to say 1-1. These are harder to call. Joe Rogan's a talented guy, man. Like blow by blow, it's not as easy as you would think. All right, going into the third round now. Both fighters absolutely exhausted, mouths open. Carson opening with a lead kick, followed by a jab. Smith just walks through it, throwing a thunderous right hand, just misses with that. Going into our second minute here, Carson slips inside, lands 3 crisp punches. That was a slick move. Smith is momentarily stunned now. Carson shoots in, gets a takedown, raining down short elbows. The crowd starting to pick up now. Going into our third minute, Smith rolls back to his knees, powers up back to his feet. They have been insistent on staying on their feet this entire time. They clinch back to the center of the cage, trading brutal uppercuts one for another, blood dripping from the noses of both men now. Going into the fourth minute, Smith digging deep, pushing forward, throwing looping hooks. Carson answers with a blistering series of counters, jab, cross, hook. Smith's nose is bursted open. He's swinging hard. Carson slipping every single one of them. Fantastic defensive display here. He's worked out on that a lot on his camp leading up to this. Final minute going into our 5th minute here. Can they finish standing up? Smith lands a right, stumbling Carson back to the cage. Carson answers with a left hook. Rocks Smith. They are trading shots. Last 30 seconds here. Smith shoots a double. Carson pushes him off. Jab from Carson. Jab from Carson. A right hook from Smith. And there is the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight. Second fight of the night in the books. An absolutely extraordinary display. Both men shake hands again, return to their corners for a much-needed minute-long respite. What do y'all think? That was Smith is an ox, absolutely. Let's see. Pet Detectives, Abraham Lincoln against Teddy Roosevelt would be a good one. That one is also in contract talks. Personally, that is one of the fights I would most like to see. Really a boxer and a judoka against a wrestler. Fascinating matchup. Go, Davy, go. Oh, you got what you wanted earlier. Let's see. All right, now we are going back to the ring for the decision. Both men standing in the middle. And 29-28, Jedediah Smith takes the victory. A controversial decision again there. I could have seen that going either way. Jed Smith, proud victor tonight, returning to the locker room. But Kit Carson, absolutely honorable in defeat. I'm sure we'll see them again. Fantastic fight. All right. What is everyone thinking so far of the History Fighting Championships? Our first event. If you've ever seen the first UFCs, I feel like this is going smoother than those. So, all right, we are moving on to our main event, the one everyone's been waiting to see, Quanah Parker versus Geronimo. Coming to the ring first is Quanah Parker. Fighting out of Lawton, Oklahoma, standing 6'2", weighing in at 200 pounds with a reach of 78 inches. He specializes in Comanche-style wrestling, plain-style grappling, and horseback striking transitions. He is the Quahati bad boy, known as Quanah Parker. Parker looking absolutely fantastic tonight. Fit as a fiddle coming out of fight camp. Now we are going to the legendary Apache, Geronimo. Fighting out of the mountains of northern Mexico, he stands 5'10" and weighs in at 185 pounds. With a reach of 74 inches, specializing in Apache knife fighting, guerrilla striking with explosive cardio elements. Welcome to the ring, Geronimo! Geronimo looking focused, looking intent, ready to do his job. And here we go, folks. This is the matchup of the night. Are you ready? Now, Quanah is a little suspect with his footwork. He's used to fighting on a horse. Geronimo has speed, endurance, resilience that is probably unmatched in the entire professional fight league at the moment. Quanah is going to have the advantage with pressure and power, and could have a slight edge in strength. So keep that in mind as we progress through the fight. This is going to be one for the ages, folks. Round one underway. The bell rings. The crowd is already on their feet. Geronimo coming out, bouncing on his toes, fires a sharp low kick, slapping against Parker's thigh, already getting things started here. Quanah stalking forward, undeterred, hands high, patient, testing the range with a long jab now. Going into our second minute, Geronimo whips a body kick. Parker catches it, drives him into the fence. Sheer strength from Parker now. Short knees now coming from Quanah. Heavy pressure again on the clinch, using his body weight to wear Geronimo down. Geronimo answers with an elbow to the side of the head, backing Parker up now. Both men again moving towards the middle of the ring. Parker shoots low again, a double leg, taking Geronimo to the mat. The arena is now going insane, folks. Parker dropping short elbows from the top. Geronimo framing up, trying to work his way to his feet. Geronimo pushing off Parker, scrambling up to get free. The crowd going crazy as we go into our third minute here. Geronimo landing a stiff jab cross. Parker's eye is starting to swell. Could be a concern for him later in the fight. Going into our last minute here. Quanah regroups. He's now driving forward. Pins Geronimo to the cage. Lands a vicious 1-2 body shot. Geronimo is slipping away now, moving, circling towards the middle of the ring. But before Quanah can catch him, there is the bell for the first round. I really think that was a dominant first round for Parker. Geronimo still trying to find his pace, trying to find his rhythm, but I think we might see him do well in the later rounds here. Quanah's endurance is going to be something that we were able to uncover tonight, but has been an unknown element until now. Geronimo for the fall. We're seeing that from the crowd. An absolutely wild audience tonight. You guys are crazy. Not a cooler name than Geronimo. That's true. It is a pretty cool name. Jed Smith is a tough dude. He really was. That was a good fight from him. I think he'll do well moving on now. You learn every fight. So I think we're going to see him only improve. Hard to pick either one. Both these guys are studs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Incredible athletes all the way around tonight. Our break coming to an end now. Going into round two. There's the bell. Geronimo coming out fast. Low kicks, feint, lots of movement. Parker checks one and answers with a crisp right hand. Both men are determined to get through this second round. Going into the second minute now, Geronimo darts in, darts out, mixing punches and body kicks, forcing Parker to move, forcing Parker to chase him. Quanah throws a low looping hook that misses. Geronimo counters with a spinning elbow that lands clean. Parker wobbles. He's back to being steady, but that's going to cost Parker a lot of energy going into our third minute here. Sensing an opening now, Geronimo pressures a barrage of short punches and a knee straight up the middle. Parker clinches now, slowing the pace, slowing the pace. They're now grinding against the fence, trading short strikes. This is a dangerous territory for Parker. Not somewhere we thought that we'd see him. Going to our 4th minute now. Parker powers through another takedown. Geronimo sprawls, heavy hips for the undersized man. Geronimo circles out, fantastic grappling skills on display here. A sharp left to the body from Geronimo, and a leg kick circling towards the middle of the ring now. Fantastic skills on display from the Apache warrior. Going into our final minute, Geronimo lands 2 jabs, a right hook to Parker. Parker trying to close the distance. Geronimo circling. 30 seconds left. Parker bleeding from the nose now. Jab to the body, jab to the head. Geronimo setting Parker up, but runs out of time with the bell. An extraordinary second round from Geronimo. Really able to use all of his skills to keep Parker at bay. Where did y'all think that we would see Parker in the second round? I think he was dominated by Geronimo there. Absolutely overpowered by the smaller man. Nice press kicked in, filtered out the mic and changed voice. Well, let's see here. Lots of Geronimo fans. We're going to see where this goes. Only 1 round left here. Both men breathing heavy now. Going into our 3rd round, standing up from their corners. And here we go. There's the bell for the 3rd round. Both men's mouths wide open. Geronimo opens with a hard body kick. Parker catches it and slams him down again. Crowd on their feet now. Quanah moves into side control, and we move into our 2nd minute. Parker dropping elbows to the ribs, grinding pressure from the large Comanche. Geronimo tries to shrimp out, looking for a guillotine now with Parker's head down, but Parker powers out, moving to half guard now. Going into our 3rd minute. Quanah isolates an arm. He is looking for a Kimura to finish Geronimo. Geronimo rolls out, escapes and scrambles up, only to eat a big right hand from Quanah. That rocks the Geronimo. And we are moving now into our 4th minute. 2 minutes to go now. Parker senses fatigue. He smells blood in the water, folks. Double leg takedown straight into a mount. He is raining down punches. Geronimo seems like he is completely taxed. He can no longer take the big man over. Elbows raining down now. Moving into our final minute. Geronimo tries for a sweep. No luck. Tries again. Almost escapes. Parker holding him down, using his weight, keeping the smaller man where he wants him. Heavy hammer fists coming in the last 10 seconds. Oh, this is brutal. Opening up a cut over Geronimo's eye. 3, 2, 1. A strong finish from Parker. A valiant effort from both. Neither men shake hand. Both are very upset. Both were moved to either's respective corners, and we await the decision. Main event in the books. Folks, what did you think? I thought it might not go to a decision either. That last 10 seconds was an absolutely ferocious display. Geronimo had more in round 2. Yeah, that was a showcase for Geronimo. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the decision with the 3rd round. And he threw those kicks that Parker was able to catch and take him down. And it just seemed like a pattern that Geronimo never picked up on. And something simple like that can cost you the fight in the end. Okay, we are going to the middle of the ring now. Parker and Geronimo both waiting for the decision. And here we go. It is announced 29-28, Quanah Parker by unanimous decision. Geronimo not happy at all. Parker elated. A fantastic effort from both, and a matchup I'm sure that we will see again. Fantastic effort and an absolutely thrilling card all the way around. That was something like that was better than we could have planned, folks. An absolutely fantastic display from all of our athletes here tonight. We are going to the comments now. Any questions, comments? What did you expect to see? What did you see? Are you happy with the decisions? Are you happy with the fights? What would you like to see more of? Didn't see that one coming. Yeah, I think after the 3rd round, there was just no way for Geronimo to catch up on the decision. Let's see here. I thought Geronimo would win. I think in a rematch, he very well might. It was a pacing issue more than a skill issue for Geronimo. And I think there will likely be a rematch there. And I think Geronimo will learn and be a much more dangerous opponent for Quanah moving forward. And he might hit the weight room in between and put on a couple pounds. If he had that size advantage, I feel like he would really have used that well on Parker. Half Comanche, half Parker. It's a tough man to beat. That's a tough combination. Makes him a really big guy when you think about it, because like his dad was a big guy, his uncles and grandpa were all big guys, just a big family. Tough guy to beat. If you look at the pictures of him, he's got huge forearms. It is a daunting task, I'm sure. Peyton Nakona is proud. I'm sure he is. That was a rough 15 minutes. He really earned that. All right. Yeah, so thank you all for coming out for the initial iteration here. This was just a cool idea that we thought would be interesting to throw down every once in a while. And we've got lots of different matchups that we think would be really cool. We'll be announcing them kind of as we go here. This will be something we do once or twice a week, and just something entertaining and where we're all free to come and share our opinions. No one's right, no one's wrong. If you think that Quanah would have lost, then let us know. And yeah, just something that we're trying to come up with, new ways to engage with everybody and to engage with history. That's entertaining, and you can learn about the characters through this. And we thought this would be a way to mix old and new. Someone behind the camera. It's just me tonight, but there's a corporate structure to be sure. Yeah, if there's anything else, other live events that you guys would like to see, we'll be back hopefully, I think tomorrow. If the scheduling works out, it's kind of dependent on the regular episodes that we can get done. But I think hopefully tomorrow, definitely at some point this week, we'll let you know, definitely tomorrow morning. I'm going to do one on special operations in the Old West. Basically, whether Delta Force and the Texas Rangers are kind of one and the same contemporarily. Because I think there's so many parallels between the two. Obviously, one's from the 20th century, one's from the 19th, but they were both stood up as hostage rescue organizations. They're both really, I don't know what, ambiguous in their structure. They take guys who are very combative in nature, and they're kind of left to operate on their own devices. And that's just a couple things, just a lot of the characters. I've read a lot of the special ops history that's been put out in the last 10, 15 years. And like, it's hard not to draw these parallels. So that'd be a really cool, I think, interesting topic. And there's a ton of other stuff, just deep dives into the lives of Quanah, into the lives of Jack Hayes. And a lot of stuff just doesn't make it into an episode for whatever reason. So on the cutting room floor here, we'll get to cover it. Glad we have Delta. Yeah, they're it's better to have them than to be against them. Are you sure Josh from Wild West is? Yeah. So I'm going to talk to Josh about coming on. I would like to do some discussions where we throw ideas back and forth. Like we both just did episodes on Adobe Walls, and I talked to Josh before. He's a great guy. Go watch Wild West Extravaganza. He was an inspiration for me to start this. I was watching him back when he was the Bloody Beaver podcast. He's a super smart guy, super talented guy. And we had talked before about doing some kind of stream, but didn't have a topic yet. So I'd like to talk to him about whether he thinks Billy Dixon actually made the shot. Personally, I do. I think he made it. I don't think it's impossible. And whether he hit the actual Comanche warrior, or whether he hit the horse, or whether he just knocked the guy off the horse, I'm not sure, but it was clearly enough to turn the tide of the battle. I don't know what Josh thinks. So I'd like to have him on and talk about it, and you can debate us in the comments, because there's a lot of people that think that is a complete hoax. I talked to plenty of people on both sides of the aisle that have equal experience, that are like really into shooting, that are, for lack of a better term, gun people for sure. And they will agree and disagree till the sun goes down on whether that actually happened. Oh yeah, so Josh will be on, and then also I'm gonna do a like spooky Old West story Halloween stream with several scary stories that are real from the Old West that either haven't fit our motif or that a lot of people don't know. I think one that I'd like to talk about is the Servant Girl Annihilator, because we're right here in Austin, and not that we spend a lot of time downtown near the Whole Foods, but if you go behind the Whole Foods in Austin, it's on 6th Street. That's where one of the first serial killings in America took place back in the 1880s. It was called the Servant Girl Annihilator. It started with a bunch of literal girls who were hired on as servants here to some of the wealthier families in town being found annihilated. I don't know what I can say on the YouTube stream or not. But then one after the other. And now there seems to be some kind of modern day parallel in Austin, which is another controversial episode or controversial topic as to whether people actually believe there's some kind of resurgence of a modern day annihilator stalking Austin. I don't know. Seems like a lot of people getting annihilated for there not to be. Let's see. And yeah, some other ones. I'm still going to chat here. We need Dexter on the case. There should be an Old West. Maybe there was an Old West Dexter. I'll have to look. If there was an Old West Dexter, probably not the most easygoing guy, right? So yeah, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, the Halloween stories. So the Bloody Benders as well. I think that would be a cool one. And what was the other one? Oh, the Donner Party. We're gonna maybe we'll throw in some Alfred Packer, but to me, I don't know. Packer's story is pretty creepy, but to me, maybe it's because I'm originally from California. Take it easy on me, but I'm from about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours away from where the Donner Party happened, and it's just horrific. Like it's just a horror movie. One of those things I don't think they can even make into a movie because it's just too bad, and it spans all ages and all. It's like young to old. Everybody that survived was traumatized. Let's see what the chat thinks. I don't know about Louis Ketzel. I think that's the guy's name. What do y'all think about him being guilty or not guilty? Was he a people eater? I think I could say that here. Or was he not? Because I'm dubious. I don't know. I'll have to look into it more before the next episode. But that whole story, just I think is one that's hard to fit into a versus format. It's hard to say, well, the Donners versus the elements of nature, right? But on a live stream format, I think we can really let it fly on that. And if you don't know the story, it's just one that's people got trapped in the Sierra Nevadas, which I think is one of the most underrated, most treacherous areas in the country. They got trapped in the snow. They were going to starve to death, had to eat each other. That's the too long didn't read version. Few were rescued. It was a bad story, bad time. And then Alfred Packer was another guy that I think he's probably guilty. I think he probably ate some people. I don't know, probably. But either way, super weird dude. And he was super weird before his whole trauma happened, where he got same kind of thing as the Donners. He was with I think a gold mining party though, and they got lost in the winter in the Rockies, and there's nothing to eat. So eventually, rock in a hard place. It was just a matter of whether the elements had taken his companions or whether Packer had. And a lot of the evidence said that Packer had. I think he was convicted, then ran off, and then was convicted and acquitted again, something like that. I'll have to look that up. But you can look at the pictures. Weird dude. And he was weird before all that happened. So I don't know. Interesting story, but probably not a guy you'd want to have a beer with. I'm trying to think of some others here. I might go down to Seguin because there's just so many. That's one of the most haunted cities in America. Like every place you go to, the locals are like, "Oh, that's haunted, right?" It's like it's a frozen yogurt shop or something. Oh, it's very haunted. And like, okay, yeah. So some Halloween stuff coming up. We're gonna have some fun with, and let's see what else we have coming up. Boonesboro is coming up, which is why we were able to slip in Daniel Boone tonight. Let's see. That's another one I think is kind of overlooked. We kind of forget how important Boonesboro was and how intense it was. Even writing the script was like, there's not a lot of losses casualty wise, but how close the fighting was and really what was at stake was just like hair raising just to do the research for. Sounds like Gettysburg, everything is haunted. Dude, I don't even want to go to Gettysburg. At this point, it's like I've seen enough YouTube videos where I feel like I could give myself a tour of it, but yeah, everything's haunted. Like the hot dog stand is haunted. So it's like, listen, I don't need this, you know? If I'm not mistaken, the guy was trying to use the route to drive business to his general store. I could be mistaken. I'm not sure. Oh, you mean I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think that's in relation to one of the Halloween stories. Refresh me on that, only beer. Are you talking about Packer? But anyways, yeah, lots of haunted stuff in the Old West. They're just like, no offense, but they're creepy people in general. You know what I mean? Who moves out to the frontier? People that are a little creepy. That was my family. So like, you know, not putting them down. I'm just saying, who moves out to the frontier? People that are a touch creepy. The Donner Party guide. That's right. There's a lot of contention about that. I forget my kind of go-to source for the Donner Party is the Indifferent Stars Above. I forget who the author is, but you can Google that. If you haven't, I'm sure you may have read it already. And I forget what they say about that specifically, but it seems like it was just several arrogant decisions and several, maybe just outright foolhardy decisions where like, it's like they told you many times it's either too late or you need to hurry up. You you have little experience in this area and you're not listening to anybody that has been there before. Not you only beer. I'm talking about the Donners. And so you end up in this bad situation and they ended up stuck there. And it's like I said, it's a horror movie. It's not even a story. It's just a living horror movie. And the Bloody Benders were as well. Those people, I don't know how I know, like I said, lots of weirdos on the Old West, but how they got 5 of them to congregate, maybe it's 4, but 4 or 5 of these people to congregate in this house. They don't know who was mom, who was dad, who was brother, who was wife. It was a very like Meg and Jack White situation where this brother and sister may have been husband and wife, and then they have a creepy mom and dad. And then all these people would stop at this little bed and breakfast and they wouldn't leave. And people didn't know where they went. And a lot of times they were buried under the house. So, you know what I mean? Very creepy, very creepy. 0 out of 5 stars, but it makes for a good Halloween episode. And let's see. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Boonesboro. We have Pompeii Factor coming up. Another story I think is like super overlooked. Bunch more Comanche stuff and Ranger stuff coming up. A lot more frontier stuff coming up. And we'll have some international stories coming up as well here. Let's see. Any questions in the chat about anything? Let's see. I don't know enough about that. It's in any case, very poor judgment on the part of the leadership of the Donner Party. Absolutely. You're a good storyteller, pleasant voice, enjoyable to listen to. Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. You should check out some of the other comments. Some people disagree, but I love them all. Engagement is engagement, right? Let's see. Really appreciate the channel from Mojo88, Bass and Bourbon 72. Really appreciate the channel and I'll listen a lot while fishing. Great narration and history. Super jealous. Wish we could fish more. Where do you fish at? You in Texas? Let's see. Peyton Acona is proud. Again, from Mojo88. Absolutely. And thank you for your membership. You guys, we're going to add some stuff to the membership, like a bonus episode. We have a book coming out as well. So we'll give you like a couple of samples on the book and sample chapters, whatever you want. We'll figure it out as we start expanding the membership benefits. But an extra episode or two and an extra exclusive live stream, I think would be cool for a couple bucks a month. Let's see. You can hear my voice is starting to go out. I'm like Jagger late in the set. Let's see. Oh, not to diverge too much. We'll see if you guys want to talk about this. Just give me like 2 minutes on this. But yesterday, the anniversary of the Skinnerd crash, right? If you're a Skinnerd fan like me, terrible. I ended up reading an article that I hadn't seen before from I think 77, and Ronnie Van Zant, their singer, was talking about how he was going out. He was going to retire from the band because his voice was going out. And I was like, Oh man, it's a bummer. Hopefully that would have never come to pass, right? But hopefully I don't have to retire from the YouTube game. I got to take care of the old voice, right? Austin's a difficult place to do that, though. I live like kind of up next against these woods. Don't geolocate me. Nobody swat me here. I don't need that. But yeah, lots of allergies. Beautiful place, lots of allergies. You don't seem to get them till like third, fourth year when you live here. And yes, a plethora of other problems. Everybody from Texas can let you know. I'm in Pennsylvania. Oh, beautiful place up there. I need to go up there. Are you a Penn State fan? What's the other one up there? Penn State. Everybody college football fans. Would it help everybody if we worked our release schedule around the football schedule? Do you guys watch on the same day as you watch football? What's everybody's watching habits? Been thinking of moving to Texas from Arizona. Do you recommend it? I mean, it's different for everybody, but I do. I moved here. I'm from a really rural area in California. So Texas is a lot like where I'm from in a lot of ways. But yeah, I love Texas. A lot of my family is from Texas. I feel like there's a lot of freedom here in a lot of ways. And it's good. It's a good state, I think, in general to do business in. Like anywhere else, it's got its problems. But yeah, if you're curious, come check it out. I know Austin is much different. It's it's the blueberry and the bowl of tomato soup for sure. You're good on my end. Don't watch sports. Okay, cool. Good to know though. From Pennsylvania Plowboy. So Pennsylvania Plowboy, you need to go fishing with Mojo 88. Can we set that up? Do we have the resources? I gave up on football, pet detectives. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I do watch the PBR though. We have a team here in Austin, the Austin Gamblers. And I don't know why they call them the Gamblers because there's no gambling in Austin. I guess the whole deal is that bull riding in itself is a gamble, but I feel like we could have done something better than that. I honestly don't watch a ton of sports. I'm trying to convince my wife to move. If you take her to Austin and take her to the fancy restaurants here, I think it's an easy sell. A couple like rooftop hotel pools, a couple fancy restaurants, and a couple of like the homey, cozy food parks where they have like, I don't know, they sell like $20 churros in a bucket of ice cream or something. Let's see. Closer to Pittsburgh. Okay. You're from Pittsburgh, around Pittsburgh. You don't watch sports? Man. And I don't watch a ton of sports either. I'm just curious. All right. Anybody got anything else? Happy to answer questions. Just hanging out. Hopefully you can't hear my fridge running in the background here. Yeah, that's cool. Glad everybody came and hung out tonight. We'll be kind of like tightening these up. This is our first one. We're going to keep trying them out. We got some good matchups in mind. If you have any other historic matchups in mind, let us know. I want to get like Abe Lincoln versus Teddy Roosevelt going for sure. I think, who else was I thinking of? Oh, Musashi the Samurai versus George Washington. Any takers on that one? I think that's a good matchup. Who else was I thinking? I'll have to look at my list again. Yeah, thank y'all for coming out. This has been a fun one. We wanted to try out a new idea. And like I said, keep working these, keep getting better and better. And like I said, wanted to have a good time. Hope everybody had a good time. Lee versus Grant. Little on the nose, I got to tell you, but I think that'd be a good one because it already happened, right? But in an MMA fight, one-on-one fight, we could see what's up. And I was thinking them versus either one of them, right? Lee or Grant versus Santa Anna, like a remix of the Mexican-American War. What I want to do is set all these guys up in like an old school UFC 8-man bracket, and we'll do like a whole thing where they fight all the way through it. And there'll be like a theme, like the Mexican-American War or the Plains Wars or just like the Greatest Warrior or heavyweights only. Genghis Khan versus Saladin. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Who would I have in that? I'm not sure. That's a good one. Achilles versus Carlos. Dang, that's a good one. Okay, but they can't use weapons though. If they can't use weapons, I don't know. Because well, I guess Hathcock would have like the USMC hand-to-hand training, and we don't really know what Achilles would have. But I mean, all the records say he was pretty bad. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Yes, George Washington versus King George III. I was like, come on, we got to throw that down, right? That's a good one. That's gonna sell. That'll draw. Genghis Khan versus Saladin. Let's see. I was trying to think of some others. I have a big list of them. I just don't know where it's at here. Shoot. We'll go through it some more, but I think it's a fun concept, and we'll keep coming up with different ones. We'll keep adding different elements to it. So we got big plans for it. I think it'll be a fun way to kind of break up what we do here. So yeah, stay tuned. We've got Daniel Boone and Boone's Burrow coming up, Pompeii Factor coming up, and a whole bunch of other stuff, a bunch of new live streams. So stay tuned through the week. We'll have a bunch more stuff coming at you. And yeah, thank you again for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support, and we will see you soon. We'll talk to you later. From History at the OK Corral, home of history's greatest shootouts and showdowns.